Put a little bit of the rub, nigga, I gotta be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
And I'm projecting going forward. He's 24 years old, Stephen A. And he got done by Kawhi, but Kawhi is fully in his prime. He had load management through the season, the whole thing, right? So Kawhi got him. That's a mature superstar in his prime. Giannis is so dated, but he's already been through the wars. He's already learned from defeat. He's already gotten better every season. He's already a monster, both ends of the floor. And something that became obvious to me, and credit to you for bringing this up before the series started, Giannis needs someone else really to get his own shot. Even though he sometimes turns into the de facto point guard when he gets ahead of steam, he can't get his own shot like a little guy, right? He is 7 feet tall, and you just mentioned when you saw him getting bigger. Diesel. Speaking of Diesel, Shaq was a dude who looked at Giannis and said, yeah, that guy you can call Superman because he brings it hard every time. Giannis is already league MVP, playoff experience, tested, and by the way, succeeded in the earlier rounds until he ran into Kawhi. And I believe would have ultimately been successful had Kawhi not been there, would have already been looking at his first championship. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers he puts up, getting better and better. By the way, you know how we say if Simmons could shoot the three? Giannis already is starting to shoot the three very respectably. I anticipate that's going to get better. And let me tell you this. If Giannis becomes a real serious three-point shooter, of everyone I look at, well, I would say of everyone who's come along, when you go, Shaq has a chance. No, he was an all-time great, but he wasn't Jordan. LeBron has a chance. Not quite. Of everyone I see, Giannis is the guy where if he became a deadly three-point shooter, he could replace Jordan one day as the greatest player who ever lived. I mean, he's that great. He's only 24.
Okay, first of all, he won't do that. I've never seen anybody in the history of the game that developed that much as a perimeter shooter outside of Jordan. I don't see Giannis being that guy. That's number one. Number two, I want to take a moment to veer left, even though, again, I disagree with you about Giannis. But before I say that, let me say this. I got a lot of love for this kid. We actually did a commercial together for ESPN. He's a fantastic kid and a terrific player with an incredible upside.
That's the only thing that's going to hold him back. If he get a consistent jump shot, it can take him to the next level. Like, he's not going to be on Jordan level, but you got to give it up to him. He is MVP. But that's the only thing that's holding him back. That he can't shoot the basketball consistently. Like, all you got to do is clog the hole up. He can't do nothing else after that. He can't really shoot the basketball. That's the only thing that's hurting his game so much. Like, if he get that to go along with his game, it can take him to the next level and help his team get over the hump. But he also need like other players to step up when he get in those tight situations. But he's not going to be that guy as much. He just need a lot of help on his team. Because you can't take that one from me. He won MVP without shooting the basketball for real. But that's the only thing. How they talk about Ben Simmons don't have a jump shot. He don't have a jump shot either. That's what holding him back. He don't have a consistent jump shot. So like, you can't say he could be on Jordan level. He's not going to be on that type level. It depends what he do this season. Like, can he get the team to the finals and win it? But in the playoffs, it's a different situation. They going to clog up the lane and stop him for doing that and make him shoot, and that's what's going to hurt him.
I'm a huge fan of Budenholzer as a coach. I think he's an exceptional coach. And the Bucks organization and what they were doing when I was covering the conference finals with them in Toronto, some of the stuff that they do, their own version of LA Live out there, Max. They took me for a tour of their facilities, the whole bit. There's some special things going on in Milwaukee. We need to give them love and we need to give them respect and credit. Having said all of that, here's the thing. Number one, right now, it's still LeBron. Giannis ain't leapfrogging him. It harkens me back to 2008 when LeBron and those boys went to the Olympics in Beijing. And the most popular dude was Kobe. And what happened is in China, I mean, one could argue that Kobe was almost as popular, if not as popular, as Yao Ming. Why? Because he had rings. And that's what, from a global perspective, people respect. Even though he's from Greece, and even though Giannis is big time or whatever, when you talk about him being the top commodity in the NBA, considering the global brand that the NBA is, you ain't getting it without a title. And I got news for you. I don't believe he's getting a title in Milwaukee. LeBron could do it in LA. Here's the other thing. Joel Embiid could do it in Philly. And by the way, while we're talking about numbers, let's take into account the fact that Joel Embiid averaged 27 and 13. Let's not forget that. Let's also remember that Joel Embiid shoots better from three-point range. Let's also remember that he said he shoots better from three-point range. Giannis had about 25%, or Joel is at 30%. That's what it said. That's what it said. I'm saying, if it's, I stand corrected, but that's what I read.
Okay.
Would that be?
Yeah, you're right. Last year, 26%.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The other thing is, Giannis, as much as we love him because he's a straight shooter, he's dogged in his approach towards excellence and dominance. I told you, Max, when Philadelphia lost on that triple, quadruple bounce from Kawhi Leonard, I said, watch out when people were mocking Joel Embiid because he went in the hallway and went into his girlfriend's arm and he was crying and stuff like that. I think it's the greatest thing that happened to the 76ers in the Joel Embiid era. Here's why. Because he played too much. He played too much. It's all fun and games. And that, to me, is the first time he was genuinely hurt on the basketball court. If he just a taste of Giannis's, determination, look the hell out.
The Sixers could win the whole thing this year.
They could.
And I believe they'll come out of the East early on.
I do. So
let me tell you why, and I agree with you about Embiid.
Right.
Embiid, here's why I take Giannis over Embiid. Mainly health. Embiid has had health issues throughout his career.
I'm just talking about if they're both healthy.
They both have great personalities.
That's right.
They both have great personalities. Right. Everyone loves playing with Giannis. Giannis embraced Milwaukee. Milwaukee embraced Giannis. Giannis doesn't want to work.
But yeah, he do have that hunger to win. It's just like the team he got around it fits him, but he need also some more players to step up more so he can help them get to the finals. And they can get there because they got a team to get there. It just like it depends who else gonna step up besides Middleton. Like you need more scorers to step up, and like by losing Brogdon, it's like a big little hole there, but they still have a good enough team to go for in the playoffs. And because Philly got a good team this year. It's like if Embiid gets serious and don't play as much, Philly can go to the finals over them. We gotta wait and see how it's gonna go. Like that's one thing you can't take away from Giannis. He's determined to win. And people would love to go to Milwaukee and play with Giannis. Because he is an MVP. He can get a championship. He probably can get one in Milwaukee. It just depends on what his teammates do with him. If they all step up with him, when he can't step up, some games in the playoffs, then they could get him over the hump. Because once it slow him down, it's like Milwaukee can't do nothing without him scoring most of the majority of the points. But if Embiid gets serious enough like Giannis, he take Philly to the next level. It's like after the incident in Toronto, like he seen it like losing and coming close to going to the Eastern Conference Finals and have an opportunity to go to the finals was there, and then he saw that they lost, and it really broke him down. That's why they said, no, like you can't play as much. And now you see it. What can happen to you when you don't be determined and serious.
Out with guys on other teams because they're the enemy, like old school. I love Giannis. Embiid has the kind of personality. He's like the modern day Shaq.
Yes, he is.
He is I think
in terms of personality.
No question.
Yes.
No one has a better personality in sports than Embiid.
Joel Embiid will call somebody the Sacramento Queens, like Shaq did. He'll do that.
I love Embiid. They're both great picks. By the way, neither one American-born. Interesting. We're talking about the NBA that way, but
they both over 7 feet.
In this era, and when has it ever been that the center was the guy selling the sneakers? Was the guy who actually was the #1 star in the sport? Even when Olajuwon and Shaq and Kareem, and you go to anyone, were the #1 guys, the sneaker sellers, the ones the kids wanted to be, were rarely that. And even though Giannis is a 7-footer, his game is not exactly like a 7-footer. He has the kind of personality and the kind of game that can make him the #1 star in the sport one day.
Right, no disagreement. All I'm saying is that, again, we take injuries aside because that's always a given.
Yeah.
It's not that it doesn't matter. It's not that it's not important.
It's just a big issue.
It's not that it's not important. It's that I always concede. Obviously, injuries are always a factor. But I'm talking about in terms of their game. If both of them are on the floor healthy against one another, Giannis is very, very appealing in his no-nonsense approach. But the market that he's in and the lack of success I think they'll have in terms of capturing a championship, when I look at Philadelphia, it's not just that they have Horford. They got him from Boston. So you weaken Boston while strengthening yourself as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the